Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you increase your shot power.
Perfect.
So a couple of key things to remember when you're generating power behind a strike. The first is that technique is the most important thing. It's not about hitting through the ball as hard as you possibly can and trying to blast it. Chances are you're not going to hit the ball clean and you're actually going to lose power. So instead we're looking for a strong and powerful but smooth technique so we can hit the ball crisply. A crisp strike on the ball is going to generate much more power than just trying to swing your body through the ball as hard as you possibly can. And the second is, why would we want to generate power in the first place? And usually you want to generate power when you're just outside the box, because power minimizes the time the ball is traveling through the air, which is going to make it more difficult for the goalkeeper. When you're inside the box, accuracy is the most important thing, because even if you don't generate the most power but you get it in the corner, it's very difficult for the goalkeeper to get to that part of the goal in time. But when you're outside the box and you're trying to place the ball into the corners, the ball stays in the air a lot longer because you're further away from the goal, so the goalkeeper has more of a chance of getting there. But if you generate some power behind it, it minimizes the amount of time the ball spends in the air before it reaches the net, and so it's going to make it a lot more difficult for the goalkeeper. So with that in mind, let's move into the first point, which is to get the ball out of your feet. Getting the ball out of your feet allows you to generate momentum, which helps you put more power behind the strike. The more energy you get behind the ball, the more energy is going to go through the ball when you eventually get to striking it. So you don't need more than 2 or 3 wide strides, but you definitely need to get the ball out of your feet so you can take those strides into the ball. So the match situation will dictate how far you can push the ball out in front of you, depending on where the defenders are placed. But just getting it out of your feet so you can take 2 or 3 strides, and then that final step needs to be a long lunge. So you really need to lunge into that final stride, being strong on that planting foot. So first couple of strides need to be strong, but that final one needs to be a big lunge, generating all that momentum into that final step. So now that we've generated a lot of momentum with our run-up by using fewer but wider strides instead of a bunch of stuttery little steps, which is going to lose all momentum, lose all power, we've now got to plant our standing foot beside the ball. And this is really important for generating power. Your planting leg needs to be stable and balanced, pointing directly at your target to help with accuracy, but it needs to be stamped into the ground. Slight bend in the knee. Really engage all of the muscles in your leg so you're nice and stable. So if you were to stand on one leg and someone was to try and push you off balance, those muscles are going to fight against it so you can be really stable. Having stability and balance through this planting foot is going to allow you to swing through the ball with a lot more control, which is going to help you get a cleaner strike, which is going to add more power to the shot. So really important, place it beside the ball, about 6 inches or so away from the ball, with my ankle directly through the middle of it, pointing directly towards my target, because that's going to help me with my accuracy, making sure I have a slight bend in the knee, really engaging all of the muscles around the knee so I'm stable as I swing my kicking leg through the ball. So we've ran up to the ball with nice wide strides, firm and stable planting leg beside the ball. Now it's time to swing our kicking leg. And this is where all of the power comes from. So we need to make sure our backswing is as big as possible. Think of your backswing almost like a bow and arrow. The further you pull that bow back, the further and faster the arrow is going to go. So the further we bring our leg back, the more power and more velocity we can swing through the ball, which is going to add more velocity to the ball as we strike it. So we need to make sure we've pulled our leg back as far as it can go. So typically you'll find your foot is about level with your hip, so that when you swing through, you've got all that distance to cover, so you can pick up as much momentum as possible and put all of it through the football. And a key point when you're swinging, you want to make sure you're raising your opposite arm. This is going to help you with your balance. You've already engaged all the muscles in your planting foot, slight bend in the knee, but just having that arm out for balance is going to give you that extra bit of stability so you can be even cleaner when you're striking the ball. So now let's talk about the most important step, which is contact areas. So the area of the foot we're striking with and the area of the ball we're striking. So one thing that's a non-negotiable is your ankle needs to be locked, which means to engage the muscles around the ankle so it's nice and rigid, so that when you make contact with the ball, it's not loose and you're not going to lose power. If you don't have a locked ankle, it's almost like hitting a tennis ball with a racket that has loose strings. It's not going to be a clean strike of the ball and you're going to lose so much power. So engaging the muscles around the ankle and locking it is really going to give you a solid surface to propel the ball off of your foot. So make sure you practice stiffening the muscles around the ankle so it's nice and strong when you connect through the ball. And the area of the foot we're going to be striking with is right here. Between the inside of the foot and the laces, we're generating a combination of power and accuracy. So we're using this dense bone right in the middle of the foot, which is going to give you a clean contact on the ball. Then with that part of the foot, we want to strike right through the center of the football. Hitting the middle of the ball gives the cleanest connection, which is going to generate the most velocity as it goes towards the net. So we lock our ankle, pointing our toes downward and out, so we expose this part of the foot and we connect right through the middle of that ball, following through towards the target. And the final step is your follow through. So even though the ball has already left your foot, it's really important to pay attention to your follow through in order to generate the most power. So as you strike the ball, we've put a lot of momentum through this action. So if you try and stay on that planting foot, chances are you're going to go off balance and you're going to lose a lot of power behind the strike and lose all control of it. So what's really important is as you strike the ball, you follow through towards your target, then you leave your planting foot, jump in the air and land back on your kicking foot. This is going to continue the momentum that you've built up through the run up, through the planting foot, but it's also going to help you remain balanced so you keep control of the strike. So as we strike the ball, follow through towards our target, allow our kicking foot to swing through towards our target, come off of our planting foot and land back on our kicking foot. This will help you generate the most power. So there we have it, 5 tips to help you increase your shot power. And you might be thinking, I'm never going to have the time in a match to think about each one of those 5 individual tips. But the more you practice, the more second nature it becomes, and you build that muscle memory so that in a match, you don't even need to think about the steps anymore. So it's really important to get out there with a bag of footballs and practice repetition after repetition until these tips become second nature and you can pretty much do it automatically. So get out there and practice and you'll see the results paying off in a match. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you smash the like button, hit that subscribe button for weekly training videos, and I will see you guys in my next video.